Welcome to the Healthcare Business Secrets show, where we interview industry experts and break down exactly how they're dominating their markets so you can learn from the best and can double your revenue, double your impact, and double your time off. In this episode, we're talking with Chris Zaino. Chris is a world-renowned speaker, author, entrepreneur, and former Mr. America and IFBB pro bodybuilder. After defying a deadly terminal disease in his late 20s, Dr. Zaino leveraged his experience to get his doctorate and became one of the largest wellness clinics in the world, seeing thousands weekly. Dr. Zaino created the I Am Hero project to resurrect heroes from the complacency of their secret identity so they may live heroic lives once again by expressing and experiencing true love now in every area of their lives through his 4-step methodology, Hero Rises. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Thank you for having me, Doc. I appreciate you, man, and everybody watching.
So most people won't know this, but as I graduated from chiropractic college, Chris as well, I've been following him, interestingly, for a while, and then things kind of come together as they do. And so it's exciting to have you on the show. I've seen you doing your thing for a while. Tell us a bit about yourself to give our audience some context, what you've sort of been through and where you're at now and what you're working on.
Yeah. Well, I have many different lives, I took different roads, different routes, and I hit, even unrelated, I just hit the top of them because there's just certain principles that at one point, I would say it was like an unconscious competence, and I was reaching levels of success. And when you looked at all of them, you would distill down a couple principles and variables that I just applied unknowingly that was able to really just hit the top in whatever I went for. And many different areas that were totally unrelated. So, we'll stay in the health realm, right? So I'll just stay in the health realm with the chiropractic clinics, the stem cell clinics, all the other things we have going on, the medical tourism we have going on in Cancun. But I think the chiropractic one was unique. I realized that I really don't do anything unless I have a personal experience with it. And because if I have a personal experience with something, I have a story. And then that story is the exact thing I just leverage over and over and over again to persuade someone to at least give what I'm doing a shot, right? Because I'm not coming from just benefits. I'm coming from an emotional, personal experience. And so I realized that everything I do, I had to have a very personal experience with it that was either life-changing for myself or a family member or someone close to me. And then from there, that's where I'm able to go all in. So the chiropractic thing was, I found chiropractic because I had ulcerative colitis. I was almost about a week away from getting my entire colon removed. And someone told me about chiropractic, and I thought it was the most ridiculous thing ever because I saw it as a muscle modality, like a massage. And how's that going to heal an incurable terminal disease that the best in the world were unable to help? But I gave it a chance because I didn't try everything. So I was able to give it a chance, and it wasn't fast. I mean, 7 months, my body healed itself. Utilizing chiropractic. I ate right, I exercised, so it wasn't those, like a lot of people like to lump that in. Eating right, exercise, all that stuff's an outside-in approach. Nothing to address the inside-out cause. So, eating right, chiropractic, and exercise, they're not in the same cabinet. Eating it's great to eat right, it's good to exercise right, but it's not addressing any cause and main function. So that was my blind spot. I had a blind spot. It was damaged my nervous system. Once that blind spot was seen, I was no longer ignorant. So you understand, what you don't know always gets you. So that's ignorance. Ignorance means unawareness. So I was able to become aware of something I wasn't aware of, and made the decision to correct that problem. And through that process of the body healing itself and functioning correctly, my body was able to heal itself in about 7 months. And from there, I went back to school. And that's why I was like, this is what, I found my purpose. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to help people. At that time, that was my calling. Okay, I'm going to go help people through chiropractic. That was the phase of my life, the next phase. And that's what I did. Went back to school, did it, opened up in 2005, and had some little rough start. But then when I just said, hey, I'm just going to tell my story. I'm going to tell because you can't bullshit my story. It's my story. No one could do research in my life. It's my life. So, get your own life story, but this is my life story. And I leveraged that story. I've told it to hundreds of thousands of times, and it changed hundreds of thousands of lives. So, before I get into like what I did, and we'll talk about what we did, because we were talking about principles. That's why on this podcast. And it wasn't the things I did, and it wasn't necessarily how I did it. It was the intention behind it from having a personal experience. Because I feel there's a lot of health practitioners on this line, and I'll just call you out straight for it. There's a lot of health practitioners on this line. You don't even do what you tell your patients to do. You don't eat what you tell your patients to eat. If you're a chiropractor, you don't get adjusted. And then if you do get adjusted, you don't pay for it. So you're asking your people to pay for something that you don't pay for or invest in. I could look at you and I could see by your physical, not you, James, you look great, but I could look at a doc and I could see by their physical appearance that they let themselves go. They're fat. They're out of shape. And that, to me, the truth is you have a discipline or emotional problem that you have to get into control, and it's incongruent of what you're trying to do. So my patients keep me accountable. I look the way I do because I have to be a living example. I gotta do what I tell them to do better than I ask them to do. I have to invest a lot more money in myself or my life than I ask them to invest, so I earn the right to lead them. Otherwise, I'm just spitting off would be nices or should do thises, and at the same time. So a lot of times, many people could solve their practice by just eating their own dog food. Basically, that's the American way of saying just do what the hell you tell people to do. Just try it. Most docs would be amazed if they actually did what they told their patients to do. They would be doing amazing. And then if you're not going to do it, then don't tell your patients to do it. Like there were certain traction units for chiropractic that I hated. I wouldn't do it at home. And I was telling our patients to do it. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't do that either. So I just took it out. So I made everything congruent. So you have to have a personal story or an experience, not a personal story. Like an experience, like with stem cells, got to that because my mom's knees. She avoided surgery in her 80s. She's doing amazing. So as long as I have a personal experience with something, and that could be a doctor just getting adjusted or practicing what they preach, having that personal experience, or hiring staff. My staff members or former patients. Why? School says don't hire patients. I'm like, they're the best because these are people that have personal experience. They paid for their care. They went through the ups and downs, and they're doing great on the other side. Like I really saw the importance of having a personal story, a personal experience, and doing exactly what you tell them to do. And even though it sounds minute, it sounds very fourth dimensional. It's like, how do my patients don't know that I don't do it? They know. They know. And I can just tell you those little things right there would make a huge difference. Just those things for someone, any practitioner, anybody in any job to do.
100%. I think personal experiences is so important because it creates passion, it creates conviction, and patients and clients, they can smell incongruency. Like if you're not, if there isn't conviction there and you're not fully invested in what you're even telling to them, it's very hard for them to follow through, because it's like, doc, you're telling me to do these things, but I can feel that you're not. And it's also hard for us to communicate it. Like if I know something to be true and I'm doing it and I'm implementing it and I'm getting results and I tell somebody about it, you can't question me on it because I know it's true. I know it works. And so any objection that comes up, I can't afford it. I don't have time. I don't have this. I don't have that. It's all kind of bullshit and disappears because it's like, well, I'm doing it and it's working. So how are you not applying the thing that I'm trying to get you to do? Because I know it works because it's true, versus saying things that we're not, in which case, there's no conviction when we communicate it. And so clients can just tell. They wouldn't be able to say to you necessarily, oh, you said this or said it like this, but there's a feeling, right?
Yeah, it's just like, it's the script. It's like you could say the script exactly, yet you don't get the results. Why? It's because it's the energy that those words are coming on. Like words are they're not a spell. It's the intention behind it. And you're right. And the only thing that creates an intention is that personal experience. There's a connection to it. And I really feel you're right. It's like the patient subconsciously innate. It's an innate to innate connection. And there's something that they might say, well, I'll think about it. Or there's just an unsettling that they can't even explain. But we know what it is. It's it's a lack of intention. It's a different vibration. It's a lack of passion. It's a lack of certainty, enthusiasm. You find someone who loves what they do and they're excited about what they do and they think what they do could totally help you. That's a much different day one or much different interaction than someone who is just going through the motions and just saying the right words. So the right words, they're good. You want to have that and be eloquent and be sharp and be able to teach. But like you said, the actual movement and leadership comes from some type of personal experience and conviction. Absolutely.
It's why when we hear something from somebody else, there's so much power to it because they've had an experience. And so when you're, you can be the expert, but they're not going to listen to you. They can listen to their friend who gave an experience, because as humans, we connect to that. Now, you saying, and I'll kind of ask it in two ways, right?
Yeah.
Personal experience through having been through something and overcome it and found a solution, or what about personal experience because you've been around it for so long, you've done it for so long, you get such great
Absolutely.
results as well, right?
1,000,000%. And because that gets rid of the bullshit of a doc saying, well, I don't have a story like yours. Like, you don't need a story like mine. You don't
Mm,
need a story like mine. Like, did you see someone get better? Then talk about them. My mom
mm,
got better. I talk about her. It means a lot to me. Right. So I
mm,
have something. I have a real thing. And well, what if I'm not even a Kyle, or I didn't even open up office. I don't know day one. You know what? Then read other people's stories.
mm.
There's plenty of books out there. There's plenty of docs. Go on sites and watch YouTube testimonials, and there's plenty of other stories. But
Yeah.
know that that people are getting well and why. And I've seen people get well that followed everything I told them to do. I've seen people that missed adjustments here and there and still got well, right? So it's like a lot of times, you know, you just need to accept the fact that what you do is beneficial and own it and know that it's good for people. But so yeah, there's no excuse of not be able to get to that point. You're absolutely right. And of course, as you practice more, your certainty goes up, your confidence goes up, the value for what you do goes up. And from there, it actually should get easier. And then until the point where that doctor needs to evolve out. Like you said,
Mhm.
you get to the point where maybe work with patients 101 is not the next highest choice. It's managing, coaching, multiple things. And then
Mm,
you start to see their results go down because their heart and their passion, the cloud's ready to move, and they're putting their energy and tension towards something else. So
mm,
whatever that is, you just follow your heart. Whatever gets you excited. When you're excited, you get a desire. The desire is a want. And we all know when we want someone, we'll do whatever it takes, logically or illogically, rational,
mm,
irrational, to do it. I can tell you in the States, I see so much irrational shit going on. And I realize, why do they do it? It's because they wanted to. There's no,
mm,
that's all it is. There's not some complex answer. We always do what we want.
mm.
And always, self awareness is huge in this, James. You got to always know as a doc, where you at? Where you at?
Um, let's talk about lack of belief for a second. And I think it's going to be a
Yeah,
good segue into
yeah,
what you're doing with the Hero Project as well.
yeah.
Is that I see it all the time. You would have seen this as a lot as well. People that I work with, people that I talk to, there's this lack of belief in fundamentally what they're doing, and they end up going through the motions of it and become susceptible to the perceptions of others, and they worry about catering to what other professionals are going to think, what certain people or patients, their friends, family are going to think, rather than having what we talked about is that passion, that conviction, and this is what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. And it changes the game. And if you don't have that self-awareness to say, hey, look, maybe the common denominator in why these clients aren't following through, why I can't attract them, whatever, is this lack of belief in what I'm actually doing. So when I communicate, it's empty. Where do you think that comes from? Why do you think so many people have this, even though they've trained for years and they've learned stuff and that kind of thing? It's lack of belief in what they do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Education, you know, there's a difference. There's a difference between listening and hearing. There's a difference between hearing and listening,
Mm,
and there's a difference between um, gaining information and thinking. So a lot of times, I think what you're hearing is people are just absorbing information and spitting out. That's what school
mm,
does. But we never really thought. We never actually thought for ourselves. When you really think, then you realize, or learn to think, then things change. Then beliefs go. So I mean, what is a belief? A belief is, it's something. It's understanding and having. There's a level of faith that has to go into belief. So if you're looking for the 100% factor, you're not going to find there's a point in time where you have to decide this is something that's good. It's good for me. It's good for other people, and that's where the belief is. But a lot
mm,
of times people will say things. You're right, but when it comes pressure, when the body or when you are tested or pressures upon you, then we really see what we believe. Example is logically and through theory and through research, we could show taking antibiotics for ear infections is not very good to do. You're more susceptible to more infections and other diseases down the road. So we know that logically, right? We could read oh, okay, got it. But when your kid gets an ear infection, then there's a lot of that goes out the door, because now your emotions get involved and your true belief system starts to show itself through the actions you do. I'm not saying what's right or wrong. I personally believe you don't take that stuff, but it's amazing when people are actually then pressured to put in a situation. Then this paradigm, it's a subconscious program, is what you really believe starts to then show. And how do you destroy a paradigm? You're in ignorance. Ignorance means what? Lack of awareness. So you must become self-aware. Once you're aware, you need to study. And study with repetition is the only thing that's going to change your belief. So study with repetition would be, as a practitioner, you study the philosophy of chiropractic, and then through repetition and understanding that studying philosophy and what it stands for, and you see people's lives changing, and through repetition of seeing that, that starts to change your paradigm of I don't believe in something, or increases your belief. And the higher the belief, the higher the certainty. And the higher the certainty, then the patient actually borrows your certainty when they're scared, right? So a lot of times I tell patients, I'm like, listen, I know you're in a bad spot, but I give you permission to borrow some of my certainty until you start seeing the results for yourself, right? Because in the beginning, they're scared. So when I'm so certain I know they'll get better, I tell them, borrow my certainty for you if you doubt it, until you start to see things. And, it's just a way of showing them that, I'm certain that they'll get well, but they've been in they're so sick. They're in such a low vibration of scarcity and fear, lack and doubt. Yeah, they're in this radio station. They're trying to get to this radio station, which is healing. They'll never get here if they stay on this radio station. So it's my job to help ascend them, if they're willing, to see themselves well.
Yeah.
So that's where, if they need to borrow my confidence and they're getting well in the beginning, so be it. So be it. But it's tough. Belief comes through awareness and repetition of study. It's the only way you're going to change your belief system.
Because
That's
if you don't create your own, you're going to
yeah,
default to whatever's around you, and that's
whatever.
easy. It's going to happen anyway.
And look at this world. Look at the collective consciousness, fear, germ theory, right? Everybody wearing masks and shit. It's like it's such a germ theory. It's such a false theory, and that's why this whole thing's crazy, because it's like, wow, we're leaning on that a virus makes you sick, or germs make you sick. No way. Look, I just am rubbing myself with millions of fucking bacteria. I'm not getting sick because the host is strong. People don't understand that. And I kind of felt responsible as a chiro. Chiro's been around since 1895, and we did such a weak job of educating people about what health was. I mean, if we actually did the job that medical professions did, put the money that medical profession did into advertising what we did in teaching, we could have probably prevented this chaos, because people would be like, "There's no such thing as a germ theory. My host has to be strong. I don't react to disease. I keep my body strong." So, I mean, just look. You realize the collective consciousness of the world is fear, thinking that they're going to wear a mask and it's causing division. It's causing a form of prejudice. It's incredible. It's incredible, and I sit back going, "This is absolutely against my principle, or the true principle of health." And at the same time, I realized that in 100 and whatever 30 years, we couldn't get a message out. Horrible. So that's why someone like you doing this is huge. But I'm telling you, our profession personally, we totally dropped the ball due to division with inside, and not and being absolutely being cheap. They never marketed. They never get the message out. Yeah, me doing dinners in my community. I mean, I'm still not. I'm not reaching anybody. That to prevent a mass, uh, fake terrorist type of feeling like we went through with this COVID stuff. It's real. COVID's real. I'm not saying it's not real, but um, why do people have to react to it? All these people now you want to think about health. Now you want to, you know, all of a sudden, like, no one told you to put the Big Mac down. No one told you to put the supersized soda down. Right now, I don't wear a mask and yell at me, yet you let your freaking partner drink shit and sugar and all this other stuff their whole life. See, so it's so ass backwards, because people are just uneducated on what health is, and that's our job to do it. But there's just not enough of us on the level to educate. So thank God with technology and doing stuff like you're doing, James, we get the word out to thousands of people.
Tony Robbins, I was at a conference of his recently, and he talked about how generations change because of events like this. And I'm paraphrasing here,
Yeah.
but for example, my great grandmother, my grandfather's mother, I knew her, and she would save tiny pieces of butter in the fridge and tiny pieces of cheese that kind of looked gross. And I didn't really want to eat it because she went through the depression, and she's even though after that point there was prosperity in her life, etc., she'd been conditioned that this is how it is, and so forever she was like that. And he talked about this, for example, with the masks, that people are going to wear them forever, even if otherwise all information points that it's unnecessary at some point in the future. Let's say they're still going to keep doing it because there's now been this new belief instilled, because most of us go around passively absorbing information and never really critically thinking about it and forming our own opinion about it or challenging it. And I think it's dangerous. And I think that us as health professionals, whether we're chiros or massage or nutritionists or whatever, we have a duty to lead our clients. And the benefit of that is not only do clients get well and get results better, because I've always said that it's not the information that or even the treatment, so to speak, that we do. It's keeping our clients accountable and coaching them through to committing to what they're actually going after, which gets them results. Because I could be the best practitioner in the world, but if I can't get anybody to follow through, then nothing's going to happen. It's our job to guide them, help challenge the way they're thinking, because chances are the way they're thinking about their health, their life, their success is not fundamentally congruent with what they actually want to achieve. And so it forms this feedback loop of life's hard, health's hard, success is hard, because they're using the wrong patterns to view it, the wrong strategies. And we're going to do that. And the benefit of it is that, of course, our practices will grow because people are going to stick around, get results, tell people. And it's this positive catch-22 of going, well, hey, I'm going to lead my clients, help change their beliefs, and the benefit is they're better, and I'm better as well. But I think it's scary that yeah, like my kids are too young. Mine's 2.5 and the other one's 4 months. So they'll hopefully skip it. And I'm definitely going to be coaching them on that. But there's a lot of kids at schools. There's a lot of, young people that are hearing and seeing this. And that's it for the rest of their life. It's become a fashion statement. They're going to keep doing it. It's scary. Let's talk a little bit about the I Am Hero project. Where did this come from, and what are you doing with it?
Well, it's just a part of my life where I was in my mid-30s, where I was like, wait a second, where do I get all my where did I get all my truth and information from? Like, I was living out other people's expectations of my life, or other people's subordinated values. I was like a secret identity. I was living out other people's things of what I thought I should do, and I never really went back to that little kid and said, who am I? What do I want to do? What do I want to be when I grow up? And I started just searching my truth, courting myself. Like, what do I like? What I don't like? Who I was and what I was put on this planet to do, and following that joy and that enthusiasm once again, and create things again, and embrace the unknown, and just evolve, because I believe we're spirits in a physical body, and we're meant for forward expansion and evolution and forward progress. So there comes a time where you might have, even though I had a very, very successful career in healthcare, there's a point where it's time to evolve. It's time to move. It's time to grow. And so if I stay there, even though it's successful and I checked up all the boxes, and I don't evolve, this weird depression or loneliness or funkiness starts to creep in, and you don't know why. How can you have all this stuff? You checked off everything, and you realize you're just grieving your potential. That's what I was doing. So I might have hit a certain level of success, but I was still grieving my potential. That means, there was a part of me that knew there was something bigger, better, different. And monetary wise, it might not be bigger, might be less, but it's just something different and better where I need to go. And that's when I started that. It was like, everybody wanted to be, I realized, why am I doing what I do? And I realized, I want to be, I want to appreciate it with what I do. I really got to the selfish point of it. And I realized that when I looked up those words, I saw the definition of hero pop up. And it's one who is idolized or admired for courage, contribution, outrageous achievement. I was like, shit, that's right. Like, courage, contribution, or amazing, or outrageous achievement. Like, yeah, that's my purpose. That's the perfect manifesto for me. Like, I want to do things in this world that's never been done before, or to a level that is admired, that helped a lot of people. And I know it takes courage. And I realized that when I was waking up trying to be the best in the world at what I did, that was when I was most alive. And that's when I took most risk. And when I took risk, I felt alive as well. But things got so comfortable and so systematic and so certain that all that life and stuff, it was just on autopilot, and it gets depressing because I
Mm.
know here I'm cruising, and to everybody else I'm successful, but I'm lacking success because I'm not actually evolving. And I think that's our main point. How can we evolve and help people and ascend through our entire lives? Like no retiring, always creating, and it's tough because you got to leave the comfort zone of where you're at, but it's so worth it. So that's what I do. I help people. I help people, live in a secret identity. For those that live in the secret identity, to wake up and reconnect with their genius, their greatness, and their buried hero. And for those of you that are awake, I provide a powerful, inspirational experience in helping people to, you know, um, take their game to another level, influencing and persuading people to another level, so they may, help people as well reach higher levels in their life as well. So I always believe, and I believe everybody is born with seeds of greatness, and they're capable of doing heroic things, but no one's told them, no one's given permission, no one's shown them. Dogmas, teachers, preachers, all these other things have kept them in a mental or spiritual bondage, and they cease to grow and evolve. And it's my job to show them, or not show them. If you look at the hero's journey, it's this big circle. If you ever look it up, hero's journey, you'll
Mm.
see a circle. And along the way, there's something called it's like a terror barrier. It's when you make the leap, but along the way, different mentors and different teachers and helpers help you along the way for you to make your transition and find something. And I'm just one of those helpers along the way that's going to help you do what you really love to do. Because instead of, if I ask someone, if I gave you $50 million, what would you do? And they tell me, I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that. And the thing is, they could be doing that right now. They don't need $50 million for that.
Mm.
And so my job is to help get them doing what they think circumstantials would be down the road to do it now, because they'll have a lot more fun, they'll have more joy, they'll be more attractive. And when you love something and you're passionate about something, then you outwork everybody, because the act of doing that thing is the reward. You ever do something at the end of doing it, you have more energy, you're at a different vibrational state, you're happier by doing that thing. You didn't need a nap, you didn't need a rest. It's like, so if we could start doing things that we really could love and put our whole heart into, and the act of doing it is the reward, that's when you outwork everybody and not know it. But you enjoy things because as you're doing it, you're getting enjoyment and fulfillment.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
there's solid reasons behind it. There's solid fulfillment with it. I 100% feel that myself, and I haven't experienced that. Right, you get to a certain
Yeah,
point and it's just easy, and then you know most people maybe want things to be easy, but I don't. I want growth. I want
yeah, yeah.
experience. So, I
And
want to
that's
evolve.
okay.
Mm,
Yeah, it's okay. There's no right or wrong.
mm,
I learned that too. I was a very right, wrong, good, or evil guy. When I was in chiropractic, I still am, by the way, but when I was evangelizing that thing, I was righteously saving the world. I was very judgmental. I put things into right or wrong, good or evil. And that was just a very immature way of doing things. It was a motivator, but I realized there's no right or wrong.
mm.
At the far end of right is wrong. The far end of wrong is right, something right. So I realized that, you as a human being, we could always wake up tomorrow and rewrite the script and start all over again, do what we love to do. And when I realized that, like that legalism and that dogmatic kind of religion of chiropractic, when I was able to walk away from it and say, listen, this is bondage. I'm here to help people. Medicine isn't all evil. I think medicine's not good for you, but it's not all evil. Because I put things into right or wrong. I was a very judgmental person.
Yeah,
I realized that wasn't loving.
yeah.
So what can I do that I could love people? I could see them unconditionally and appreciate them unconditionally, no matter what they do or choose to do, and just be a helper in their life. And there's a need for that. And that's why I'm there to help them, no matter what their choice.
Yeah, I like that. I really like that. I think that using that principle, all of us can find
Yeah,
more desire and passion in what we're
sure.
doing without necessarily just having to chase the new thing,
Yeah,
by just rewriting the script. 100%.
yeah. We
Um,
could do that.
so we
Animals
can get it
can't
right.
do that. Animals can't do that. That's what makes us different from animals. We
Mm,
have we have the choice of free will. You and I could wake up tomorrow and just take out a blank canvas and rewrite our whole life.
mm,
And we're not going to go homeless. A lot of people are like, well, if I do that, yeah, you might like make less money in the beginning, but it's going to wind up, you'll be happier and you're going to wind up probably doing even better. The thing is, like, you'll never be homeless. Everybody's scared of the what ifs. Well, my job is, well, what if you don't?
Yeah.
What if you don't? What are you going to miss out on? What are you going to grieve? What are you going to resent? And when you really understand that, when you make that leap, the beauty that you'll receive and the experiences you'll have from doing that, and just that whole journey you'll go through is far greater than anything you'll lose. Because we know now what we could lose. Like if you and I make a leap to do something different, we know what we'll lose. We know the income we're making now. Like we know all the things we lose. We don't know we have no idea what we'll gain. And because you don't know what you're gaining, you only know what you lose. It keeps us back, it keeps us from making a step, even though it's the pot of gold on the other side. But you don't give yourself a chance.
Yeah, that's powerful. Where can everybody connect online with you, learn more about what you're up to? And
the best is just Instagram, because Instagram is where you could contact me directly. I respond to all the comments, and I'm also the one that answers all the DMs. I don't have some social media person. All my followers are organic. There's no weird thing that's going on. So yeah, that's the best way, and we always keep the conversation going. You bless me by allowing me to fulfill what I do. Understand that. Like when you so ask questions. You'll never bother me because you help me fulfill my life by helping you. And as I call it, relationship capital. The opportunities that happen from the people we meet, and everybody has their unique superpowers, right? You have a superpower that I don't. I have a superpower that someone else doesn't, and you come together and you can make some amazing things, like a league of exceptional heroes, right? And so relationship capital is huge. It's not using people. It's actually building true relationships, and being okay with not being strong in all areas, and seeking people that is strong, and really coming together and doing something massive and amazing, and everybody wins. And that's what, just living a heroic life. We've all been created to live a heroic life. It really is. And it's just a wonderful thing to do. It's a lot of happiness, a lot of fulfillment, and it's wonderful. It's predictable.
I appreciate you, dude. It's been an amazing episode. It's got me thinking about some things, and I know that our audience is going to love it. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Take care.
It's my pleasure. God bless you guys. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the show. If you like the episode, please hit subscribe and leave us a review. I'd really appreciate it, as it helps us get our episodes out to more people just like you who want to know how to increase their revenue, impact more people, and build businesses that work for the lifestyle they want. Now, I know your time is valuable, and I know that you are here to learn the secrets to success in your health business. So I have something special for you just for checking out the episode. Now, if you're a health professional, coach, or trainer in business, and you're serious about growing a profitable, impactful business, then pay attention, because as a listener of the show, I want you to win. And so I've created a host of resources available exclusively for listeners of the show. So if you're tired of trying to figure out this game of business, marketing, and sales all on your own, and you're ready to just implement what's already proven to work rather than reinventing the wheel, I want you right now to go and check out healthcarebusinesssecrets.com/insider, and there you'll find over $5,000 worth of trainings, resources, and coaching available only for listeners of the show. There I'll give you the resources on everything from how to acquire 10 times more of your ideal clients using social media and paid ads, even referrals, how to increase your client conversion into packages at an 80 to 90% conversion rate like me, how to retain your clients for longer, getting them better results and making them happier, how to increase your prices and charge a premium to work with you, and how you can build a 6, multi-6, even 7-figure practice just like I did, but with 1/10 of the time and 1/10 of the effort. What I want you to realize is that everything I teach comes from exactly what I did to have success and still have success in my own health business, and I want to share that with you so you can have success too. So go check out healthcarebusinesssecrets.com/insider right now, and let me help you win big in your health business. Also remember to subscribe for 2 episodes every week full of the secrets to have success in your health business, as well as leave us a review so we know what you thought of the show. And I'll see you on the next episode.